Comrade Thunder. I'm here to comment about Star Wars and what I think about the new movie. Star Wars is basically like the Roman Empire. The first part, the first episode to be made was good. Then Caesar rose to power, basically George Lucas, and he made the second episode. First episode was like the Roman Republic. Second episode was the start of the Roman Empire. Then it developed into the third episode. That was the peak. Pax Star Wars. Paxa Star Warsa. Basically, Pax Romana but Star Wars. That was Return of the Jedi. So the original trilogy was basically the glory days of Rome. You can compare it to that. Then the prequels came along. The prequels are basically the Byzantine Empire. When Rome basically split into two, East and West. The West Empire, which controlled actual city of Rome, fell apart. It got killed by Germanian tribes and Huns and barbarians. Then the Eastern Rome remained Rome, but it started being called Byzantium in our time. So Byzantium, the Byzantium era of Star Wars, were the prequels. Phantom Menace wasn't a horrible movie. It was alright until you met Jar Jar. And the rest of it was alright until you again had Jar Jar. In my opinion, you can cut Jar Jar out of the entire prequel footage, and Phantom Menace will become epic. I love it. You've got Clone Wars. That movie was the Phantom Menace was like, could be compared to when Byzantium started. It had all of these lands like Egypt, and Clone Wars is basically when they lost it all to the Turks. Then they were left with Greece and Anatolia. And Revenge of the Sith was like this, were the Crusades, you know. This hopeful sort of a revival that was really good, but it was not enough to stop the disappointment, which basically ended it all. The prequels ended with Revenge of the Sith, which is actually a good movie. You should watch it.
Yes, it's in.
But then, when Rome fell, Rome never existed anymore, right? Wrong. You had many Romes, like the Holy Roman Empire. The Holy Roman Empire was ruled by the emperor who was elected, and kind of shared power with the Pope, the Catholic Church. The Holy Roman Empire is basically the sequels of Star Wars, you know. The Holy Roman Empire started with Charlemagne. It was really good. It started off really well. The Force Awakens, for example. It was like this huge revival that was going to spark the best of the best. It was almost like the exact copy of the real Rome. You know? Basically, a conqueror conquers France and makes these huge paths in Germany and stuff. Then he is crowned the emperor, you know. But then that dies. the Charlemagne era is over, and the Empire is left to basically the Pope, the woke cult in Star Wars.
What are you doing there, 3PO?
So when Force Awakens ends, Last Jedi begins. Yay! Strong female characters. Am I right? Basically, they killed the best strong female character that I wished for. It was Phasma. And they did not develop Rey at all. Rey basically became this shallow, overpowered feminist icon. And the leaders were basically shallow, powerful feminist icons. And all men in this movie were wrong. And nothing mattered. Everything was turned on its head. And all expectations were subverted. So, revival, the Holy Roman Empire was supposed to be this great revival. You know, it subverted all expectations by completely falling apart into minor states and duchies. Holy Roman Empire started so strong, yay. Then, it completely fell. It just became a huge mess. Like Star Wars. Then, the rise of Skywalker comes. And do you know what came after the Holy Roman Empire? The German Empire. And I'm afraid what comes after the German Empire. Because that was Nazi Germany. And I can only assume that Star Wars, what you're looking at right now, is going to be one of the biggest mistakes of filming history. The sequels should be deleted and made over. They are one of the worst things about Star Wars. I don't mind Force Awakens, but the rest of it, I think it's worse than the Clone Wars, you know? So, thank you for letting me share my opinion. Bye.